Welcome to IGLI. My name's Tyler, and today we're going to be talking about the umbrella grow light from GrowLED to see if it is the light that will fill the corners. First, let's describe the build of this LED grow light. It has 2/3 main components to it. First, you have the light portion, which I like to call the disc, that houses the LEDs, and I think the timer as well, but more on the timer later. The second part is the stake, which is made of metal and feels reasonably strong. It can be adjusted to a range of different heights for your plants, from what you might need for a small plant or for a large plant. Here is a list of the max heights that it can go to. This, granted, is dependent upon the length you put it into the soil as well. And thirdly, it comes with a standard USB brick and some paperwork about the LED, how it runs and its functions. Now let's talk about the function / brightness of the light. Overall, I would say the light is reasonably bright. For what it's being used for, I think it'll do a great job, which I'll explain on later. But it can't hold a candle anything like my really bright GE light bulbs or even the grow panels that I have down in the grow room right now. On average, I got about between 1,000 to 2,000 lumens when scanning it, but granted, that will depend upon the height you put it at. If you put it really close to the plant, you might get a lot of brightness. If you put it up really high, you'll be able to diffuse it a little bit more. Granted, I wouldn't recommend this light for something that's super sun hungry, or unless you're just having it as a temporary fix or something. Now, as for my personal thoughts about the build, I like the disc-like design that they gave it. The small profile of the disc looks really nice above the plant. It doesn't look like anything bulky that I wouldn't like or anything. It looks just perfect. You can get it in a couple different colors on Amazon. I think you can get it in like wood or kind of a light green or something. I personally went with white because I didn't know how cheapy this would be. Now I will say I wasn't very happy with the cabling, the way that they did it. If you look on the Amazon page, you don't see the cable anywhere, and it looks really nice. But in all actuality, the cable kind of snakes around here, and I don't quite like how that looks, and it's a little misgiving, I think, on their part for the photography, but I just wound it around the stake and then kind of cable managed it out the side, and at that point it looked reasonable, but I feel like it's not fair that they should have shown the cable in the images. Also, I kind of wish that I had a little bit more height on the telescoping part of it, this rod here, but sadly I didn't. Granted, I don't think that'll be a problem for most people because I'm trying to push it almost to the limits here. I think this is like as tall as it can go because I have this poinsettia and it was off the corner, and I thought I'd use it to experiment because it needed some more light, and kind of pushing it further than this would normally be used. It'd be more for an African violet or something. One thing I will point out I am a little worried about is the heat sink on this, how it will manage heat, because this thing will get hot. Well, I mean, not like super hot, but there's this little metal bit on the top, and if you touch it after it's running for a bit, it will get warm. I think that metal bracket on top is the heat sink, which if it is, it's really small for the amount of LEDs in there. So I'm a little worried to see how long the longevity is on this product. Granted, for 25 bucks, maybe you have it for 4 years. I could see the value there in that sense for the product. Now, to the part that I've teased this entirety of the video is, who is this LED light for? I would say it's for everyone, be it from the beginner indoor gardener to the pro indoor gardener. More so for the minor, but I'll get into that as we talk about this. But the reason I'm so excited about it is because it fills, I would say, a much needed space within the indoor gardening. But for you to understand that, I need to explain it a little bit. So you have two different methods that I've talked about in this channel of lighting. You have flood lighting and spot lighting. Flood lighting is where you just cover the entire area in light, be it with grow panels and stuff, and try to get just basically flood. You're flooding the area with light to get it as bright as you can for the plants. And this is very effective in grow rooms because you want maximum coverage so you can have as many plants as you can. And this is a really good thing. The other method that is used is spot lighting, where we specifically light a specific area in a spot. So be that a shelf where we have a bunch of plants and we have a spotlight that fits on that, or a few LEDs on that. That way we're giving light to the plants and not as much to the humans, because the plants often want brighter light than what our eyes would like. And so we use spotlighting, and that's used in a lot of areas outside the grow room, in bedrooms, kitchen, living room, and those areas for lighting. Now with that said, this lands in, I would say, a subcategory of spotlighting that I've been really looking and searching for, which I call it one-to-one spotlighting. What I mean by that is, it is spotlighting, but spotlighting for only one plant. Sometimes spotlighting will kind of, you could call it blur the line between floodlighting that you'll have, like I have here. They're not here right now for the shoot, but you have a bunch of plants behind me, and I have 2 lights, and they flood this specific area for multiple plants. Rather this, on the other hand, is meant for a one-to-one. It's meant for just one single plant. You stick it in the pot, you turn it on, and it's just for that plant. It's not going to be amazing coverager that, like, if you could get 2 of these and extend it to the maximum height and stuff, that you could cover a whole bunch of plants. That's not what they're designed for at all, and if you try to do that, I don't think it'll work well at all. But it's meant for that individual plant. Within that area, underneath the light here, it does a really, really good job. So it has kind of a narrow field. So with that said, you have to evaluate it that way. If I were to evaluate this like my big grow lights or my grow panels, or actually almost every other grow light that I have, it doesn't stack up very well at all. This covers a certain segment of indoor lighting that I haven't seen covered before. For example, say you have an office desk or something and you want a houseplant in there, but it's not bright enough. You don't want to rig up a whole thing to have these really big LEDs and it's bulky and everything and it looks cumbersome. Instead, you could just stake this in the pot, flip it on, have a little socket timer, or use the timer on this, which is not very good, and just let her roll, and you won't even have to think about it, and it looks nice is the thing that I like. Barring the cable, of course. I mean, for crying out loud, you can plug this into a power bank like I have it right now, and you could run across the house with it. You could make it mobile. That means you could have a little power bank for this light, and you wouldn't have to worry about an outlet or having extension cords to it. You could have a power bank that just sits there and you remember to unplug it in the evening. You do lose that timer part of it. Well, actually, no, you don't lose the timer part of it. You can just use the timer in this. In conclusion, should you buy this grow light? My answer would be yes, full-heartedly yes. I'm gonna buy some more of them. I love them for friends, to give them to friends and family. I think it's great to have the ability to stick it in a plant. I don't have to mount things on the wall. I don't have to worry about hangers and light fixtures and stuff. It's just one whole unit, stake, go, plug, play, I'm done. And I think that's amazing to have. And also the ability that it's a USB. At first I didn't like the idea, but I kind of warmed up to it, that with that USB I could plug that into a power bank, so I don't even have to be near an outlet. I can have it on a shelf or something where maybe the outlet's hard to get at behind the shelf or something, and then I can just have a power bank stored off to the way, and then every night I just plug it in, charge the power bank up, and the next day I plug it back in to run the light. And I think that's awesome. Now, with all that praise giving, I have one caveat to give to the makers of this product. Could you please get the price down? I know it's a lot to ask, but spending $25 on each one of these is a little pricey. Like, if I want to get 4 of these, maybe like 2 for the bathroom, 1 for my office or something, and then another one elsewhere in the house, that's $100. At that point, I could get 4 grow panels. Same price, $25, maybe even less. I could go get, 4 grow panels that I could put down my grow room for that. And those things are really high output, and they have way more high quality LEDs than what this is packing in it. So I have no doubt that you can get the price down. What would that price be? I don't want you to cut your arm and your leg off, but like 10 would be optimal, because then at that point, say I need 4, it's $40, $10 per plant. I think that sounds very reasonable, or even 15. 15, would be more acceptable than 25, because knowing what I can get with my money for other products. But now, if you guys can find some more grow light products like this one on Amazon or somewhere, please do let me know down in the comment section. I would love to find them out, this type of lighting. I've been really jonesing for. I even thought about trying to make my own at some point. But yeah, please do. If you know of some other products or find some other LED grow light products like this, please let me know, because I would love to review some other competitors to something like this and see if they work as well. But for now, because it's the only one I've ever reviewed and the only one I've ever found, this is my favorite and personal pick for a one-to-one grow light. Hey, if you liked the video that we did today, please hit the like button down below, so that lets you know that you liked this review and want more like this. Also hit the subscribe button if you want to be kept up to date on any of the future channel stuff that we do. I have a whole series I'm going to get ready to do here on the basics of indoor gardening. So if you're new to indoor gardening, I would highly recommend subscribing so you'll be ready for when those videos come out and that series starts coming online. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell. It helps that, you know, if you're subscribed, sometimes it just show up in your feed, but if you hit the notification bell, you will be notified when I post another video in the future. But as always, keep growing indoors and talk to you soon.